Facebook is trying to break into the cryptocurrency industry with a venture called Libra.
But not everyone is hitting the like button on this move. Joining us now is UW political science PhD candidate Ben Power, who recently had an article published in the Washington Post about Libra. Ben, great to see you. Welcome to Live at 4.
Thank you very much.
Before we talk about Libra specifically, can you explain, and I know it's complicated, but in broad strokes, what cryptocurrency is?
Well, the way that I think about it is it's just a form of money that isn't backed by a central bank. So the US
dollar...
like
digital money.
Exactly. It doesn't have coins, there's no notes, anything like that. But instead of it being issued by a bank and ultimately backed by the Federal Reserve, there's just some mathematics behind it. And so with Bitcoin, you kind of have to trust the math rather than trusting the central bank.
Well, how do you use it?
You can only use it online. And one of the tricks is that it's really, really complex. It's been something that only sort of traditionally people with a computer science background can do. And so one thing Facebook is trying to do is make it more accessible and build it into platforms like WhatsApp, like Instagram, and like Facebook Messenger.
Okay. I don't know how to like condense this down. So why do we need this? I guess maybe I should say that, because right now you can make online transactions with your bank. You can use dollars. Why would you need to use digital currency?
So Facebook's arguing that the real need for Libra comes in the developing world and amongst the underbanked. So they say that there's 1.7 billion people in the world who don't have access to sufficient financial services, and they're trying to make it easier to get access that way. So that's the real pitch that Facebook's going at with this Libra project in particular.
What do the critics say?
The critics are talking about some of the privacy implications of this, because you'll be trusting Facebook not just with details of all of your browsing activity, who your friends are, but also with everything that you buy on the internet. And that's a lot of data. And there are concerns that if they combine everything they know about you already with everything they know about what you buy, when you buy it, and all of that, that you'll be able to be targeted much more effectively by advertisers.
And they don't have the best track record on this.
They don't. Facebook's promising right now that they're not going to combine this data on payments with the data on your social activity, but they promised back in 2014 when they bought WhatsApp, which is another messaging platform, that they wouldn't ever merge the back ends of those two systems, and they did just that. And so the EU fined them for it in 2017, and so they don't have the best record. One of the things we have to do if we're going to buy into Libra is trust companies like Facebook and the other big corporations they're working with.
How is Libra, or how we should mention Libra does not exist yet. It's not something you can participate in yet.
They're hoping to start a trial of it next year.
How will it be different than Bitcoin? Because one of the big criticisms of Bitcoin is the volatility of it.
Yeah.
The value of it swings all over the place day by day. How will Libra be different?
So there's two ways in which it's going to be different from Bitcoin in that regard. One, they're promising that the value will be stable, and the way they're going to make sure of that is by holding a US dollar or a euro or some other really solid currency for every unit of Libra that exists. So they're going to promise that full backing with normal currency.
Because right now with Bitcoin, the value of Bitcoin is based on how many people want to buy Bitcoin.
Absolutely. There's nothing really tangible behind it. So that's one way in which Libra is going to be different. And another way that it's different is that with Bitcoin right now, anybody can sort of run the code. You or I could run it at home if we wanted, but Libra's a much more closed system. Facebook is working with 27 other partners in something they call the Libra Association. So it's not only Facebook, although they're the ones really driving it, but we have to trust those 28 partners in the association. Whereas with Bitcoin, you don't trust any one individual. You trust tens of thousands of people all around the world, no one of which can sort of change your bank balance.
That's a lot of trust.
It's a lot of trust, and that's, I think, one of the things that Facebook's really going to struggle with this Libra project. You have to trust Facebook, you have to trust its other companies like Uber and Lyft, and you've also got to trust in the idea of a currency you can't see or touch or feel.
It's a brave new world.
It's a brave new world indeed.
It really is.
Well, do they have a timeline on this?
So the timeline is that they're announcing it now and they're trying to work with regulators. It's gotten a lot of pushback, particularly in Europe, but there'll be hearings next month, in the middle of next month in the US. And then we'll see whether they can start to get this trial rolled out next year, and it will be at least a couple of years until you or I are sending each other Libras instead of dollars.
We'll keep an eye on it.
We could spend a lot more time on this. We will bring you back for sure.
Thank you.
Ben, thank you. Great to see you.
Great information. Well, how much time do you